Good evening. Hello, how's it going? I am Eugene Myers. I write fiction as E.C. Myers, and this is NES Alphanumeric, episode 22. We are in the Bees, and tonight I am playing Balloon Fight. So I've actually played a little bit of Balloon Fight on the NES Classic. It's one of the 30 games that the system comes with. And I probably played maybe like 5 minutes of it, enough to know that it was really cool and I enjoyed it, but not long enough to really get a good sense of the game or give myself much opportunity to actually get good at it or anything like that. So I figured it's still valid to play that for NES Alphanumeric. You you have not seen any of these streams before, basically what I'm doing is I have like almost 300 NES games that I've collected over the years since I was a kid. And I collect a lot more, around college time when I got like a job and everything, and then a little bit more after college. And then there was a long period of time where I didn't collect anything, and I've recently gotten back into it. But I haven't played most of those games. I've probably beaten a small fraction of the games that I actually own, and I haven't even really tried to play a lot of the other ones that hey, Comic Man. I haven't even tried to play like most of them. So that this stream, I wanted to do some game streaming, and I didn't know how to choose a game every week, so just figured I'd start doing them in alphabetical order. And started with a 19. Well, I didn't start with a 1943, but started with 3D World Runner, and I've been working my way forward since. And I'm basically skipping over games that I've played a lot of or that I've beaten. So there are some other games in my collection that we haven't covered, but it didn't seem worthwhile to play those. So anyway, without further ado, I will start Balloon Fight. Looks like there's a one-player game, two-player game, and then Balloon Trip. And according to the manual, Balloon Trip is just a game where you're sort of navigating through different sparks and hazards and things like that. So all right, give it a try. I don't expect to be particularly good at this. I know it's very joust-like. So So as you can see, the whole goal is to pop their balloons and then hit them on the head. And the B button is sort of a turbo function. Otherwise, you press A to flap your arms, and if you hold down B, then you just constantly flap your arms. Oh, and my balloon was popped, so that was fast. So this game is clearly a copy of Joust, or modeled after Joust. Oh, one of my balloons just popped. And I think when your balloon pops, you lose mobility. Apparently those guys, when they land on the ground, if you leave them alone, they will blow up another balloon and come back after you. So yeah, this is very clearly modeled after Joust. It was programmed by Satoru Iwata at HAL, who later on, became a much more prominent figure at Nintendo. And the other really cool tidbit about this game is, so there's an arcade version of this, and this is an adaptation of that, and the controls are sort of improved. But the oh, you're not hearing any game sound. Oh, interesting. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on a second. I should fix that. You guys can hear me, though, right? Yeah, hey, Adam. How's it going? Thanks for the tip. Sorry about that. I turned off the game sound when I was using this for a controller review that I did recently. Whoops. Anyway, hopefully you should hear that now. I can hear the game through my headphones, so I didn't realize. Yeah, so this was adapted from an arcade game, and Iwata figured out a way of improving the controls, the flapping controls, and it was something about like changing the way that the algorithms from using like whole decimals or something to using tenths of a decimal or something complicated, not complicated, but something like that. And if this looks familiar or sounds familiar, it's because they use the same algorithm to control Mario in Super Mario Brothers when he's swimming, which is kind of neat. I did not know that previously. So I'm not doing particularly well, but I guess I have to pop these balloons. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's the first time I've played this bonus stage, so this is the longest I've played the game. I think there are 20-something levels. Alright. Cool, thanks guys. You'd think 22 streams in I'd have this down, but I didn't check the didn't check that I was recording audio, so that's pretty amateurish. Oh no, my balloon. Nope, and I don't want to really be down by the water there. So there's a fish. Oh, and then there's lightning. So this is pretty neat. I actually have played a little bit of Joust. I'm not really great at that either, but I have enjoyed the game, and this feels more fun to me than... Oh no! And a fish ate me. This feels more fun than Joust, honestly. Integer to... Yeah, Adam says, sounded like they switched from integer to floating point, i.e. decimal, which gives greater accuracy. Yeah, so I got that little tip from Retronauts. All right, let's try that again. So you have a little bit of time before these guys... I wasn't fast enough. You have a little bit of time before those guys get airborne. All right. I'm not even trying to get, like, a high score or anything like that. I guess they have, like, beaks or something like that. They can pop your balloons better. I think, oh, nuts. I think the thing I like about this over Joust is I feel like I have a little bit more free reign over the rest of the screen. It doesn't feel quite as frenetic as, you know, being on an ostrich, like running across the screen. A Grindilo? Oh, maybe. Oh. No, 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 no. Oh, okay. I don't like this stage. Alright. Actually, it would be really handy if Mario could do the same thing with the rapid fire when he's swimming. Without using a frog suit. You know, I need to get better at using the left side of the screen because... Or, you know, traversing the two sides of the screens. That's my last life, right? Yes. I don't know if you get extra points for extra lives for points. I think I wouldn't be surprised. I know you balloons don't get restored until you switch to until you make it to a new level, or maybe if you get a certain number of points. I'm not positive. So normally I'd be playing with my Hudson Soft Joy card, but I'm actually using the Hyperkin Cadet because I kind of liked it. I did a review recently, and I was surprised at how good it was. So I figured I'd give it a little bit more of a try, and it's feeling pretty nice. And then earlier tonight, I was working on a review. Well, I don't really work on them very much. I'm just kind of doing them very off the cuff. I just got a wireless controller from Retro USB, which I just opened and haven't really tried it out with gameplay yet. I'm going to do that after my stream tonight. And it looks kind of neat. It's kind of expensive. It uses RF. I don't think I even mentioned that in the review. I guess I'll have to remember that. It uses RF instead of Bluetooth, so there's supposedly very little lag. And it has micro switches instead of buttons with rubber membranes. So that's pretty different from an NES controller, and it feels pretty nice. But I haven't tested it out in a real-world situation yet. You know, I'm so used to playing with a traditional NES controller, it might be a little bit strange to play with something that's so different. I'll just hang out here for a second. Ooh, nuts. That's a bad idea. I don't know if those colors of their balloons mean anything. Oh! Zap. I actually don't know if this is two-player simultaneous or two-player alternating. But I don't know if two-player simultaneous, if that happens, that would be fun. When they get up to the top of the screen, it's a little bit troublesome. Alright, yay. I'm not even sure how to tell what round you're on. Maybe you can get bonus points in here. I mean, maybe you can get, you know, extra lives or something in here. I'm actually not getting any points, am I? Maybe they assess them at the end. Yeah, there's the points. Oh, simultaneous two-player. I should have brought someone else in on this with me. Hey, Scott. Oh. Oh, no. That's a twofer. Ah. So I had to clean this game last night, and when I pulled it out of my cabinet, I noticed that it still had a sticker from the store that I bought it at, which I believe was GameStop. And the label says I paid $4.99 for it, and I'm pretty sure that the label, the date on the label is December 2012, so 2002 rather. So that's kind of interesting, because I checked the prices last night, and the game is now worth I don't know if it's worth it, but the game is going for $20 now. That's like the standard price on like price charting and eBay and things like that, and that's just really surprising to me. Certainly doesn't seem to have been affected at all by having been included on the NES Classic or being available on Virtual Console or anything like that. You know, I don't really care how much it's worth necessarily, because I want to keep it in my collection, but I decided to leave the label on because it's just a little interesting historic feature, I think. Kind of know how much I paid for it and when. I bought a lot of games at Funkoland back in the day, and clearly if I got this at GameStop in 2002, I think at that time they were still selling retro games in stores. So, you know, I think I used to go into the stores to see what NES games they had, and they didn't usually have a huge collection, but you know, I grabbed up whatever I could. For $5, you know, I probably didn't even know what this game was, but it was $5. And then I never played it, clearly, or I might have popped it in to test it when I got home. But there are actually games that I've bought at game stores, like Adventures of Lolo, where I bought them and they just stayed in shrink wrap, which is maybe when I bought it I didn't even have my NES hooked up or something. Yeah, I know I can pass through the sides of the screen. I just forget that I can do that. Thanks, Scott. Oh, that's an interesting gameplay thing. Oh, great. Great. Great, 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 great. Oh, no. I mean, I got used to doing that screen thing in, oh, gosh. No, 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 no. Don't do that. In, like, Kid Icarus and, you know, games like that. It's just not super intuitive to me, even though it's like a staple of arcade games like Pac-Man and such. Wow, this is pretty interesting. Gotta get this guy. Whoa. Phew. I don't know what stage I'm on. Oh, phase 5. It flashes up there real fast. Oh man. When do I get a new balloon? Oh. Oh, so also I was doing some reading on the game, and apparently there was a remake of Balloon Fight on the DS, which was a Club Famicom exclusive, so it was only available in Japan, and it's called Tingle's Balloon Fight DS. So that's Tingle, that bizarre character from... What was that? Was that the Minish Cap? The Zelda game? And I'm both kind of horrified and intrigued. And even though it was an exclusive game, it apparently is not very hard to find, and it's not terribly expensive. So I might just try to get a copy of it. And it should be region free as well. It's like 20 bucks, I think, around that range. But if you played Tingle's Balloon Fight, let me know if I should get it. If it's kind of, I think it's a little bit like this, but maybe with some different modes and things like that. I did beat Kid Icarus, Scott. I think you were visiting, right? And didn't I beat it? You didn't see me beat it, but I beat it that night, I think, that you came over. You know, I did use save states with Kid Icarus just to preserve my progress, not to, you know, well, let me see. Yeah, mostly just use my progress, just to save my progress, which I didn't feel too bad about because it did have a password feature, and in Japan it had a save feature on the Famicom Disk System and all, but, you know, it was just easier for me, so... Yeah, Comic Man says, I always found it unfair that the lightning would only hurt the player and not the enemies. That is really unfair. They are colluding with each other. Was Tingle was in Majora's Mask? See, I haven't played the many of the 3D Zelda games, so I don't know that sort of thing. Maybe I'll try Balloon Trip. See what that's like. All right. So this is like the dam level in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except it's auto-scrolling. Oh! Huh, okay. That was harsh. I'm gonna try that again. Just let some of these balloons go. Even though I kind of want all of them. Oh, that's not fun. Wow. Really? Wow. Holy cow. Oh. Rank 39. I don't know what that means. And he was in Wind Waker. Yeah, I don't... What do you mean I don't know Balloon Fight? I don't know. I just never played it, Scott. I had, you know... I'll probably, I'm more of a platform game fan, so I tended to always focus on those a little bit more than something like this, which is like an arcade game. But this is actually like super fun, so I've been missing out all this time. But that's why I'm doing this series, so that I force myself to play some of these games a little bit more. Rank 42! Is that better than 39? I don't know. I can try that again. I feel like there should be a little bit more forgiving here, because basically one hit and you're out. I haven't really been paying attention. I'm assuming that the layout is the same, but I'm not sure. Is this randomly generated? Ooh. Crap. Rank 42 again. Alright, I'm gonna go back to the main game. Oof. Not good. Yeah, I don't... Oh, oof. What's also, I think sort of unfair is just, like, the way that the mechanics are set up. Like, so if these guys fall, if I pop their balloons, they have a parachute, and they can land safely, and then make new balloons. Why can't I do that? I start out with 2 balloons, but when those pop, I'm done for. I don't have a parachute. And they seem just as maneuverable as I am with just the 1 balloon. So it would be neat if you could upgrade and get a parachute and get, a pump or something so you can make a new balloon if you land on a platform. But, that's not how it was designed, so fine. So then there's also a Game Boy game that's sort of a sequel or successor to this called Balloon Kid, which I think is a little bit more of an actual platformer with like a story and stuff. Yep, that's right. I need to remember that I can do that going from left to right, which makes a lot more sense than what I was doing before. It's so strange. I'm locked into the square screen or rectangular screen and not really thinking about the sides as much as I should be. But clearly, that's crucial to master. Yeah, so, okay, so Comic Man says you start at 49, then go up. The rank goes, and Adam says the rank goes down the farther you get. Adam says it doesn't appear to be randomly generated, but maybe they wanted the rank to be about skill and not luck at getting an easy level. Yeah, I traded my balloon pump and parachute for 2 balloons. Sure seems that way. I think I made a poor choice. I mean, it just goes to show, though. I mean, this is pretty simple gameplay. This is a really old game. It's like one of the first, I guess, Famicom games, and at that, it's based on an arcade game. I just now, you can tell, but I tried to duck, but obviously that didn't work. He's such a tiny little fellow. You're so small, Zim. You're very small. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a fairly simple game, um, but it's really fun, and it's very polished. I think for the controls are fairly. Oh, come on. The controls are fairly tight. Like, I don't really see a lot of room to improve this except for enhancements. Interesting to see what the Tinkle version is like. Ah, he just got eaten by a fish. Really would like to be able to get, a second balloon though. Oh. Whoa, wait a second. Comic Man says it's important to remember that when the enemies are allowed to blow up a new balloon, they level up. So, is that the different colored balloon? Is that... And what does that mean that they level up? Are they... Does their AI... Does their, Does the AI change, I guess? It's interesting. But yes, it definitely seems like it would be worth your while to... Oh! I should just killed him. I thought I'd collect all the bubbles first. Or it would be neat if I could, let them pump their balloons and then steal the balloon. That would be neat. I would like to be able to do that. Oh yeah, they become smarter. Wow. That's interesting. So it sounds like you've played a lot of this, Comic Man. I don't really know. I guess this isn't a game that you beat. I think you just kind of go for like a high score. You kind of get through all the levels and then you do it all over again. Is there like a world record holder for balloon fight? I saw somebody recently was trying for the world record or doing a long multi-day playthrough of Joust. Sometimes these guys get fast. Is that my top score? Did I actually score that high, or is that like the game's top score? Oh. So I don't think I'm coming anywhere close to that. Oh. Try avoiding them, Eugene. It's a heck of a recoil when you pop their balloons. I tell you, oh. That was my top score? That's cool. Thanks, Adam. I don't think my son would enjoy this very much. He's 2.5, and a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, he came home with a balloon animal, which I think he said it was a snake. It looked like a balloon animal. It looked like a balloon that had previously been in the form of another animal and then kind of gotten unwound or something, because the snake had all these little like weird little kinks in it. But anyway, he had this oh, thanks, fish man, fish thing. You're not a fish man. He loved that thing. He was like chasing me around with it, going so, you know, it sounds like he's probably a partial tongue. But he was also like being kind of reckless with it. He was dragging it along the floor and like rubbing against the ground and everything. It's like, dude, you know, be careful. You're gonna break the balloon, and then you'll be sad. And you know, we were having fun, and we were about to go home. He was playing around outside the school when he was trying to climb up a curb while holding the snake, and he tripped, and he fell on the balloon, and the balloon popped. And can you guess what happened next? He cried and cried and cried and cried. He was so sad about it. And I actually took him into a store that was nearby, hoping that they would have balloons, because I knew they had balloons. I just didn't know if they were like balloon animal balloons, which apparently you can't just find anywhere. They were just balloons that you would use to do like water balloons. So that wasn't really helpful. So I had to kind of just not. I couldn't replace this balloon animal, but oh, he was so sad. But you know, kids are pretty resilient. He recovered fairly quickly. But it's funny because I kept, and now I am sad. I kept the balloon, the fragments of the balloon in his bag. It was just, I tucked it away somewhere just to kind of get it out of the way, and it was still there earlier this week, and he saw it in his bag. And he just started talking about his balloon animal again. He wasn't sad. I thought he might be upset again, but he was like, that was, you know, he said, it's like, I tripped and I fell on it, you know. And it was kind of neat because I'm still kind of getting used to the fact that he can put together like complete sentences, that he can remember things that happened, and he understands like cause and effect. Essentially that he has like a brain, and it's just neat. It was just a really neat thing, and also that he, you know, didn't hold any residual emotion, you know, attached to that ill-fated balloon animal. But you know, it kind of got me thinking, like maybe I should learn how to make balloon animals. Like, even if I just could master some, like, basic ones. I mean, he'd get a kick out of that, and I'd have a marketable skill if this whole writing thing doesn't work out in the long run. And it'd be fun. So I think I should do that. I don't know how you start learning that sort of thing. I guess you could probably just look at, like, YouTube, or, you know, maybe there's, like, a book or something on, like, how to make balloon animals. But maybe that'll be, like, something I give it a try. So I don't have enough hobbies at the moment, or time. I have plenty of time to do all sorts of things. You know, I keep saying I want to do a podcast, but I haven't really made the time for it. But hey, maybe I could do a podcast about balloon animals. That would fill a very small niche. Adam says snake and worm. Yeah, that's a really easy balloon animal to start out with, right? Here is a snake. The guy that his school gets to do the balloon animal is actually super talented. If it's the same guy that came to one of their other events, the last time he was there, he made a lion, and it was neat because, you know, my son went up to him, and the guy's like, you know, what kind of animal do you want? And I thought he was going to say, like, a giraffe or something like that, but he said he wanted a lion. And then the guy asked him, like, what color do you want it to be? And my son said blue. And this was even earlier. This was, like, a while back. And, again, it was just kind of neat. Like, he's got preferences and opinions and things that he enjoys. I don't know. It seems so silly to be astonished that this kid has, you know, he's a human. He's a person with a functioning brain, but I still remember him when he was pretty much just a lump, you know. Oh, no, don't pop me. Come on. So yeah, I don't know. Do I have any other balloon fight trivia? You know, for the game that I only am really just playing for the first time properly. This is pretty neat. Ah! Oh! That was pretty harrowing. Now there's I wonder how many sparks end up on the screen at once. There's 2 there. Maybe one for each. Maybe one for each cloud. Oh! 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 Man. All right. Goodbye. For some reason, my phone isn't actually showing the stream. I'm seeing the chat, but I'm not seeing the stream on my phone. I don't think that's a problem. Hopefully, as long as I'm still broadcasting. Ah. What I'm trying to do is figure out, like, you know, strategically when it's best to, let me see if I can fix this thing. The yellow ones are the highest level birds you faced so far. Okay, thanks, Comic Man. Can I refresh this thing? You see my stream? Oh, okay, there we go. Now I can see it. Cool. Yeah, besides the fish. So, yeah, this is fun. Sort of addictive, but I also don't know how long I could really play this. Seems like the kind of thing I might just pop in to play for a little while, kind of like Galaga, which I frequently will just play for a little while. Sometimes I have these aspirations of like mastering one of these games so completely that I, you know, can actually compete for a high score, not necessarily like the world's high score, but just be like really good at one of these games. But I don't think I have the time or the commitment to devote to just one game all the time and train at it, which is probably also why I'd never really be a good speedrunner. I also just have so many other games that I need to play, or want to play, rather. But I certainly admire people who are like experts at Balloon Fight, or whatever game is their game. Like, I wish I had a game that was my game, that I was just like the best at. So yeah, trying to figure out when to use turbo and when not to use turbo. Not using turbo, I think, is best if I need to kind of slow down or reverse direction rapidly. And the turbo is obviously better for getting across the screen more quickly, but it also like gives you a lot of, you know, makes you ascend very quickly, which is maybe not what you want. It makes it difficult to control. More difficult to control. Also, oh, why did I get so close to the water? Interesting that I spawned like right on top of that guy. Also kind of a fun game to just kind of zone out on. You know, it's a lot easier to do stream playing a game like this, I think, and kind of chatting while I'm doing it. Yeah, sweet. I was wondering what would happen if I got all of them. Super bonus. Nice. Oh, Mario 3. Am I the best at Mario 3? I mean, I'm not the best at it. I'm very good at it. Although I was realizing that I probably am less good at the later levels because I probably played them less often. Or even some of the ones in between. I should probably try to do like a full playthrough of the game at some point soon. It's been a long time. Oh. And I'm also not the best at Battletoads, and again, I don't think I'm particularly good at those later levels. I don't even remember most of them. I beat the game, I knew the early levels very well, as I think with most games that you have to play through a lot. You get very good at the levels that you have to constantly repeat, and then the ones that you don't play that much at the end, you're just not as good at. I'm going to switch to Balloon Trip for a little bit. But, yeah, oh, that was fast. Yeah, great. Yeah. Balloon fight. Can I just float at the top? Oh. Can I just float at the top and like skip all this stuff? I guess that wouldn't be very sporting, and there's probably some sort of penalty that happens. Man. Try to play a little bit more of Battle Kid the other night, by the way, while I was doing laundry down here. I think that nope, I knew that was about to happen. Putting my Nintendo and a TV down here next to the laundry room is one of the best ideas I ever had, because while I'm waiting for stuff to dry, or if I need to switch it from the machine to the dryer, I can sneak in a little quick gaming session. Anyway, I was trying Battle Kid, fighting that Lotus boss again, legitimately without turbo, and I couldn't do it. I came very close. I've definitely gotten better at it, but I always mess up like right at the end when it turns red. So I just need to practice a little bit more. But and I kept trying different strategies, and sometimes I would try a different strategy and I would end up messing up. But I learned that there's when you jump in Battle Kid, you actually because of the arc of your jump, you can fire weapons more quickly than if you're jumping in place and firing, just because you're also firing kind of like along that up and down trajectory, as opposed to like 3 quick shots like towards the top of it, which makes sense. But so I was trying to do more of that to do more damage quickly. And then the other thing was what was the other thing? The closer you are to the boss, the faster you fire shots, because you can only have 3 on screen at a time. If you're closer, then they just traverse the distance and hit their target more quickly. So then you can fire again. So that's another tactic I was trying to do, like just get closer to the thing. And I was getting there, because I didn't want to use the password from the game that I had gotten when I was just kind of testing it out on the stream with my turbo fire. Hey, did I make it to the end? I have to collect this. Oh, no. Oh, come on. That was just a brief respite. That was weird, though. It just froze for a second and paused, and then I thought I was going to reset. But, yeah, like I was saying in my review, the more I use this controller, the more I like it, actually. $11, not bad. Although I have heard that your mileage may vary. Some people have gotten bum controllers, so I don't think that Hyperkin's quality control is all that good. Shocker. But I got a pretty good one. Kind of tempted to just buy the darn it. did better that time. Comic Man says, for Balloon Trip, you gotta be a bit more patient. Yes. Yeah, this is a lot more kind of painstaking. Kind of like that these older games had all these different modes that you could play. This actually I might find more enjoyable than Balloon Fight, the main game in some ways. I always kind of liked that turtle level in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the dam. A lot of people used to say that it was really challenging, and it is hard. It is difficult, but I never got stuck. I know a lot of people never got past that point in the game. Now me, I got stuck at the Technodrome. That's as far as I ever made it in that game. That's another one that I need to revisit at some point. Maybe using save points? My real problem with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is I never really learned that you have to kind of hoard scrolls. So, alright. Oh, see you, Scott. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Wish I had a second player. Yeah, maybe I'll fire this thing up on the NES Classic later in the week and see if my wife has time to play. We'd been wanting to do some. We just had an anniversary, and we talked about, you know, playing a two-player game, which we like to do from time to time, but we didn't have time to do it that night. The main two-player game we had been playing was Portal 2, which we haven't finished yet, and we were also playing New Super Mario 3D... No, New Super Mario Bros. 3D World? Whichever one was on the Wii U, which is also fun. But when I first got the NES Classic, we played a little bit of Bubble Bobble, which I may or may not play in the NES Alphanumeric, because I think I've played Bubble Bobble a long time ago, but I just never got good at it, so it might be fun to just force myself to play it a little longer, or I could just move ahead with some game that I really have very little experience with. This would be a cute cosplay if anybody's ever done that. Get the little helmet or goggles or whatever, and a little red jumpsuit, and just have these two balloons floating over you. I don't know how many people would get that. I guess maybe at a gaming convention, folks might, or a retro gaming convention, folks might, or maybe something like Dragon Con. Yeah, I had been planning to go to Dragon Con this year, and then for various reasons decided that it's probably not a good idea. So I'm going to skip Dragon Con for the first time in probably, I missed one, was it 5 years, I think? I think I've been going consistently for 5 years. It's really fun. I like it a lot, but it's really expensive, and, you know, video games aren't cheap, so I got to choose. Oh, crap. But if I did go, I had been planning to put together a Captain N costume, and I may still do that just for maybe Halloween, maybe for like the next time I go to Dragon Con. Because it's actually not that difficult to put together. Oh, yeah. I wish you were closer. We don't get to hang out. Or if there was some way to sync up our NES Classics. Oh, you know, the Switch is supposed to have online play for some of their NES Classics through whatever their virtual console replacement is. Like the subscription service that they have for NES games. Oh, wow. That sucked. So that would be kind of neat if they found a way to do online multiplayer for a game like Balloon Fight. I would totally do that. It would give me an excuse to buy a Switch. And then we just kind of have to sync up our schedules, I guess. But I mean, I'm gonna get a Switch, no question, because I need to play Mario Odyssey. Whoops. Oh. Nah, that wasn't my finest performance there. Yeah, I want to play Mario Odyssey. There's no rush. I haven't even finished playing Super Mario Galaxy 2. And I haven't even been playing many modern games lately at all. I've just been really on this NES kick. So I've been mostly retro. You know, they're just easier to pick up and play for short periods of time. And actually, most weeks go by without me playing any games at all, except for this stream, which is another reason why I do it. You know, I played like maybe 40 minutes of Battle Kid last night, and that was 40 minutes I should not have been playing Battle Kid because, you know, I was doing laundry, but I really should have been writing or sleeping. I should have gone to sleep sooner. So yeah, you know, I kind of at least have a locked in about an hour every week to play, which is this stream. And anything above that is gravy. Yeah, Odyssey. Oh no, Galaxy is super great. I own it. The problem was I got the game for my birthday, and this was a long time ago. This was actually when I was moving out of New York. So that was like 2011, I think. So I got it for my birthday that summer, and then I was, I moved into a sublet in Astoria while I looked for a job in Philadelphia so that I could join my wife, who had just started school. And so I was in a tiny, tiny room. I had like a tiny LCD TV. I gave away my my 27-inch CRT, which I now miss, but I gave it away. So I had Super Mario Galaxy 2, and I started playing it on that little TV. And I think again that summer was really busy. You know, I was looking for a job. I was writing. I was hanging out with people. I just didn't really play much of it. And then I moved to Philly and just never picked it up again. I played some other games, but it's great. I played like through the first 3 stages, I guess, and I loved it. So that's actually on my list of games to play again soon, maybe before Odyssey. You know, the long form, one of the long form games that I have been playing off and on is Ocarina of Time, which is, you know, like I said, I haven't really played the 3D Zelda games that much, or at all, really. So I want to beat that game at some point, but that's really slow going. I don't have time to play for 2 or 3 hours at a stretch for more than, you know, and even then it's like once a week. It's like that kind of a game I don't think holds itself well to short gaming sessions, sparsely you know, spread out over the course of months. Plus, I'm currently in the Water Temple. I just started the Water Temple, which is I guess infamously difficult, so that's a challenge. But I definitely want to play through that. But yeah, I think I've been sort of feeling like playing Mario Galaxy 2 lately. Yeah. Comic Man says, all the 3D Marios have been amazing, but so have the 2D ones. I think so. Adam says, I can't think of a bad Mario game I've ever played that includes titles like golf and tennis. And the Comic Man asked about Metroid Prime. So, no, actually, hate to admit it, I've never actually finished Metroid either. I had that one, I think, since I was a kid, maybe, or maybe not that young, but I certainly had one since like college, and I a copy of it, and I played through it a little bit, but at the time I don't think I was like, my gaming wasn't refined enough that I was into that sort of exploration, you know, kind of game where you needed to work a little bit harder and maybe map things out and just play something that was less linear. So that's also on my list of games to play. And I have the Metroid Prime trilogy for the Wii that a friend bought for me. And I have trouble with 3D games, or I just don't necessarily enjoy them as much as 2D ones. But I definitely want to play that. I did. So the only Metroid game that I've completed was Metroid Fusion on the GBA, and that game was fantastic. Like, I loved it. I think it helped that it auto maps for you, but I thought it was great, and I played through, I think, the whole game in like a weekend, which was very unusual for me at the time because I'd never had like a whole weekend to just play a game. So I knew that was terrific. And then I have Zero Mission for the GBA, which I started to play and then realized, well, so this is a remake of Metroid, and I'd kind of rather just play the original first before I play this other version of it, which is maybe stupid, but that's kind of what I wanted to do. So, yeah, you're right. He's got a yellow balloon there, and that's my death. Great. Yeah. Yeah. And then Super Metroid. So I definitely want to play Metroid. And then I bought Metroid 2 for the Game Boy very recently, just because I'd want to get into that, and then I want to play Super Metroid, and hopefully I'll be able to play Super Metroid on the Super NES Classic if I can get a hold of it. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that. There's a lot of games. There are a lot of holes in my gaming experience, and I'm embarrassed about a lot of them. Like so that's why I played Kid Icarus, because I was like, well, this is a classic. I should beat this. Ghouls and Ghosts, no, Ghosts and Goblins rather. Never played through Bionic Commando. I found the game really confusing when I first tried to play it, so I'm gonna revisit that soon. And then Ditto Blaster Master, which is sort of Metroid-like. So there's a lot of classic games I just haven't beaten. So I've got a lot of projects ahead of me. I've thought about doing some of them as like ongoing streams on YouTube, kind of continuously playing through them, except that I would want to play a game that has either a password feature, which I guess Metroid does, or save games or something like that, or like a battery. Why did I do that? Because I'd be playing it on my CRT, and I wouldn't be able to do save states unless I got something like an EverDrive. So I don't know if anybody would be interested in something like that, just watching me kind of work my way through a game in sort of installments. But I've been thinking about it. I mean, assuming that I could find the time for it. I also have been thinking about doing, there's a little bit of time to decide, but I've been thinking about doing the Extra Life marathon, which I guess is in November, where you play a game for like 24 hours and you have people, donate, and it all goes to support Children's Hospital, which, I can't think of many things that are more worthy of charity than a Children's Hospital. So, I don't know, thinking about it. It might be fun. And then I would live stream the whole thing. Maybe not all in one 24-hour stretch, but, But yeah, I'm sort of embarrassed. Like, so the game that I'm working through now on the NES, when I'm not doing my streams, is Ninja Gaiden 3. And I'm at, like, World 6 now, Stage 6-1, I think. And I've been using save states just to kind of hold my place in that game because it's so brutally difficult. And then I want to finish Star Tropics 2 because I have a save game right at the end. And I'm sort of off and on playing Adventure Island, which I have been doing since I streamed it for NES Alphanumeric. So one of the other nice things about the series is that I've been finding games that, it's like, oh, I really want to keep playing this. I want to finish this one. So I've been kind of, committing to those kinds of things. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. Comic Man says Fusion is basically stripped down Super. Adam says, I think everyone's got gaming holes. Played Kid Icarus. You barely played any of the Castlevanias. Yeah, see, I'm astonished about that. Castlevania 3 is a fantastic game. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. I haven't finished Symphony of the Night, but I played all the Game Boy games and the DS games except for the last one, which I think is Portrait of Ruin. Maybe I finished Portrait of Ruin and I didn't finish the one after that one. But so there's one DS game that I haven't finished yet. Is it over here actually? I thought it was like right here. Well, I have all my DS games like right here. Yeah, it's Order of Ecclesia. I haven't finished Order of Ecclesia yet. That's like on my list there, and I've got like Chrono Trigger there, which I haven't finished. But so, and I want to play Dracula X, or no, Rondo of Blood, and then which I bought on Virtual Console, and then I want to play Super Castlevania 4, which I also haven't played. But the Castlevania games are so different. Like some of them are more like Metroid-like with the exploration. Some of them are more linear, and I feel like I'm gonna like the more linear ones because those are more like the NES version, like Castlevania 3. But you know, I don't know. These are all like lofty goals of like me having all this free time to play games in, which I don't have. Yeah, and Adam hasn't played almost every Sony or Sega game because he was a Nintendo kid. So was I. I started playing Sonic the Hedgehog recently, just to kind of give it a try. I had listened to this whole episode about it on Retronauts and was like, okay, maybe I should give this thing more of a try. So I started playing it a little bit. And the thing about Sonic the Hedgehog is I realized that that's actually a really great game for my son to learn games with because it has just the one action button. So you just run and then you jump, as opposed to even just like two buttons, which are pretty simple on the NES. Yeah, Blaster Master's hard. I've heard that. Yeah. Oh man, gotta play Castlevania. Don't you? Isn't that on the NES Classic? Yeah. So Castlevania. The funny thing about Castlevania was, I played Castlevania 3 and I really wanted that game, and I told my mom to pick it up for me, and she went to go buy it. And at the time, you couldn't just find any game in a store like that had just come out. Like some games just never showed up, and so she came home with a used copy of Castlevania, which I think was like $11 at the time. And I was kind of disappointed, but it was also like, well, thank you, I appreciate it, and also like I haven't played this before either, so let me give it a try. And it was very different. It was hard to go back from Castlevania 3 because the controls are a little bit more difficult in Castlevania. It's just not as rich an experience, but I played through the whole thing and ended up really liking it, really liking the challenge of it. So Castlevania is also like a really good game. I've been thinking about doing like a stream of that just for kicks at some point. But anyway, I guess so. It's 11 o'clock. I've played a lot of Balloon Fight. I really like it. I think I will probably play more of it at some point. Thank you for watching the stream. So next week is Batman Returns. I thought that was this week, and then I had forgotten about Balloon Fight. So next week is Batman Returns, which is a fairly new acquisition of mine after I'd seen kind of like okay reviews of it. I was like, all right, I kind of want to give that a try. And I've only played like a couple minutes of it. Not even that. I think I played like a minute of it when I was like cleaning the game just to kind of test it out. So that's a new experience. I'll give that a try next week. And then after that, it's Batman Return of the Joker. So I'm skipping the Sunsoft Batman game because I've played that. I've beaten it. I played that when I was a kid. And it's very good, but not something for NES and Alphanumeric. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. It's been fun chatting. If you watch this video later on, or you've been watching the stream and you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. You'll catch any videos that I upload, and you'll know when I'm about to start streaming. Because sometimes I just do like random streams, like on the weekend or during the week if I can fit it in. Leave comments if there's any game in the B range now that I'm in that you think I should be playing. Let me know, and I'll try to track it down if it looks like it might be something I'd want to own. Because there's a lot of games that I don't have that I haven't played or heard of. And yeah, thanks Adam, thanks Comic Man, thanks Scott. You guys have a good week. I will actually I won't be streaming this weekend because we've got plans, but definitely on next Wednesday. So all right, take care.